In this video we're going to be looking at two drivers driving around Buckmore Park in wet weather conditions. It should be said that both of these drivers are at the beginning of their karting journey, so neither are experts. But that said, Simon Dean, the kart on the right, was able to lap Buckmore Park around 1 to 2 seconds a lap faster than Simon Fuller in these wet conditions. However, in the dry, both drivers were evenly matched. In actual fact, Simon Fuller was lapping slightly faster than Simon Dean in the C final. So here we're going to watch 2 laps at normal race pace with Simon Fuller on the left and Simon Dean on the right. And then what we're going to do is have a slow motion look at the different lines that both drivers were taking to see where Simon Dean had found his pace. So this, the penultimate lap, would be Simon Dean's better lap. And you can see he opened up a bit of a lead there on Simon Fuller. Whereas now, into the ultimate lap, the last lap of Heat 8, this would actually be Simon Fuller's best lap. It was a funny day at Buckmore Park because it didn't rain that much, but because the ambient temperature was not especially warm, the track would just stay dry and greasy until around about lunchtime, and only then did it start to get a bit faster. So just before we get into that side-by-side analysis, this red line here represents how a driver might take a corner in the dry, clipping an apex. Whereas in the wet, the driver might go much deeper into the corner, do a tighter turn, and then try to go straighter for longer. And that's because go-karts just don't like to turn very much when accelerating in the wet. And this is going to be the difference in the large part between the two drivers. That Simon Dean does something a bit more like that blue line, going deeper into the corners, turning more, and then having a straighter exit. So this is interesting. At the first corner, Simon Fuller on the left is probably a bit ahead of Simon Dean. He has carried more speed into the corner. But then Simon Dean manages to get the kart turned more, and if we just look at these joins in the tarmac, it's actually got ahead by a small margin coming to the first of these 2 hairpins. And if we just take a freeze frame looking for that join in the tarmac on the right, we can see that Simon Dean has got there first. And in actual fact, Simon Fuller has lost a place here because another driver has managed to get through on the inside, which, to be absolutely fair to Simon Fuller, will compromise his line a bit as we come into hairpin 2. So there's that square of tarmac, Simon Dean passes it first. And if we just cast our mind back to this diagram, this is where Simon Dean is going to go much deeper into the corner, and when he gets to the deepest part of the corner, is going to turn the kart more. And if we just look at that blue bollard there on the right hand screen, that blue bollard just there, by the time Simon Dean is alongside it, he's pretty much got the kart turned and is now pointing in a straight line and is applying the throttle, whereas Simon Fuller is very much still doing some turning by the same point. And we can actually see that because Simon Fuller hasn't got the kart turned as much, he's having a harder time getting the kart going and finds himself on the red paint on the outside of the track. And that red paint is slippery. It does not help you go faster going on the red paint. Much of a muchness down the hill. Both drivers make the apex on the right hand side, but here's where we see Simon Dean go much further out to the right hand side of the track. So if you look at that right hand screen and look for that red curb on the right hand side, there it is on the right. Simon Dean's going to pretty much clip it, whereas Simon Fuller on the left is just not going to use as much of the track. And Simon Dean gets there, he turns, and then he's going to go really deep into paddock corner, and this bit of tarmac is actually really grippy, and he's going to use that to get the kart turned, and again point it in a straight line and just go down this mini straight. He will use more curb, he will put half of the kart on that red curb, whereas Simon Fuller will just get a wheel on it. Coming into Gardere, Simon Dean is going to go deep into the corner, turn the kart more, and then look to just touch that curb on the right hand side. Just here, he's going to get his wheels across it, which sets him up for a better line as we come up the hill. So he's going to have less turning to do. He's going to get the kart straight sooner and be able to apply that power in a straight line. Whereas Simon Fuller on the left is still turning, and not able to get his foot on the gas. So coming to this start-finish area, we're going to see that again Simon Dean is much wider as we come into the two tram lines. Simon Dean is very much in the right-hand tram line, whereas you're going to see that Simon Fuller is kind of in the left-hand tram line, and that is going to compromise his line through to the exit and across the start-finish straight. So the theme here is slow down more into the corner, go deeper, get the kart turned, and then accelerate in a straight line for longer. We hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like and subscribe.